All right, I'm going to call to order the Raymore Park Board meeting for Tuesday, November 22nd, 2016. I need a roll call.
Member Castleman.
Present.
Member Cipolla.
Present.
Member Eastwood.
Here.
Member Harris.
Present.
Member Heath.
Present.
Member Howdy Show.
Present.
Member Seamers.
Present.
Member Troutman.
Present.
Chairman Manson.
Present. All rise for Pledge of Allegiance. All right, we don't have any personal appearances. Now I call for acceptance of the meeting, minutes for the meeting of prior month, October 25th. Is there any discussion or corrections to be made in those minutes? All right. Ask for a motion.
I move that we accept October 25th Park Board minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right.
It's your turn.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor? All right. Thank you. All right, pass. There are no committee reports since Finance, Recreation, and Grounds did not meet. And we're on to staff reports. Director Mustine.
Thank you, sir. I'll call on Superintendent McLean.
Thank you, sir. I have submitted a written report in the packet. I would like to highlight a few things over the month of November. As you can see in front of you at the packet, it has been a busy month. Administratively, we had staff preparing collection cans for the Mayor's Food Drive. Those will be placed throughout schools and other locations. Staff worked on final year invoices and revenue closeouts for fiscal year 16. So we've brought that fiscal year to a close. Staff also gathered program, event, and activity information for the winter spring program guide to go out in January. We're collecting the information and getting it to the communications department so they can start putting that together. Some highlights of meetings that were attended by staff. November 2nd, Coordinator Hedrick and Coordinator Keith attended the Kansas City, Missouri Programmers meeting. That meeting is held with area locations sharing that responsibility. It was held in Belton. Programmers and coordinators gather together and see what new ideas are out there. So they attended that meeting and got some information. Myself and I'll also plug here for Superintendent Rulo. We both attended the Recreation and Park Advisory Committee meeting through Midwest Public Risk. That's about a quarterly meeting, and so we attended that. And then on November 4th, I want to highlight that we have already started talking and negotiating with Grand Slam tournament holder, baseball competitive tournaments that we hold out at Recreation Park for the spring and summer. So we've started getting those together. Other things to highlight in programs, Coordinator Keith, as you can see, has been working on a lot of different things, especially outside of special events, making some new connections, researching for new programs offered. She's been working on that throughout the month outside of the events. Staff has also closed the concessions, stands up, got product inventoried, everything else to that nature, getting it cleaned and ready for winterization for the park maintenance crew. Want to highlight special events we did have after the previous park board meeting. We held the Harvest Night, which had an incredible turnout. So well done by the parks crew for the setup. We had some of the seasonals come back to help with that. We had volunteers help with that event, and Unfortunately, Coordinator Keith could not attend due to a family emergency, but it went off without a hitch. We did not anticipate quite the growth, but with the outstanding weather we had, it was amazing. So we had a lot of good feedback on that, and we're looking at what we're going to adjust for next year and anticipation for that. Veterans Day was held. We did have quite the turnout for that one as well. High numbers, well marketed, and I believe that with the amazing weather we had, it was a very, very nice event and good honorary event for those veterans. And then, of course, next week we do have the mayor's tree lighting event out at TB Hanna Station, so we'd like to make sure that everybody's invited to come out and see Santa Claus and see the mayor flip the new Christmas tree that we have for TB Hanna Station. And then to wrap up with the sports, athletic coordinator Hedrick conducted the equipment check-in for all the fall sports, so we've been collecting all of that equipment back into inventory, getting ready to clean it and put it away for the winter and get it ready for spring, see what needs to be replaced. Basketball registration has closed. We're currently putting all of the teams together and getting ready for practices. And then on a final note, just wanted to put in a plug that we started a new kind of drop in and play as you want open futsal league open futsal program. And we started that 2 weeks ago. It's $40. It's over a 12-week or 12 Fridays at Creekmore, and they can come and go as they please. So they can go to 2 of them or they can go to all 12 of them. So we have an instructor working with us on that, and we have staff out at that event to help keep the soccer people in shape on the winter. So I know that was a lot, and at this time I'll be glad to entertain any other questions.
I have a question for you about the futsal. You said you had 11 participants registered. What kind of age range is that, and what kind of ability? Where are you targeting a certain area, or? We targeted anybody that was already currently in our recreation program, as well as the United program. It's at any level. We did not cap it to just competitive or just recreational. It starts at U8. We have 2 different time frames. We have U8 to U12 on an earlier time slot, and then we have U13 and above. So it's open. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Brian.
Yeah, Mr. McLean, I see on November 16th you had a South Metro transition meeting. What did you transition to?
Transitioning Mr. Hedrick into my role of representing Raymore in the South Metro group.
Oh, okay. And the second one is you got our basketball numbers at 200 participants. I assume that's rough. Is that up, down from last year? About the same?
Right on the same.
Right on the same.
I think today when I checked, we were closer to 210, and that is without the competitive. And last year we had 200 total. So
cool.
Depending on what competitive teams we get in over the next few weeks, it should be up a little bit, which last year was basketball saw the greatest increase percentage-wise than any other sport. So we're working with Coach Germain as well with the Panther program and the Jammers program to have those transition, and that usually happens second week of December.
And last year was the first year we had the younger kids, right?
Correct.
That we still have, so.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Director Musting.
Thanks, sir. I'll call on Superintendent Rulo for a parks report.
Thank you. I have submitted a written report, but wanted to hit on a couple key items. The Christmas tree that we've ordered, the 25-foot Christmas tree, showed up today. It's supposed to be installed on Monday, so we're looking forward to that and actually having a tree that's taller than the one out here. So this is a 25-foot tree that can be raised up by 5-foot sections every year, so needed. The our shade structure project is about ready to get rolling also. The poles were delivered Monday. The plan is to start digging the holes and setting these poles on next Monday. If we can work with KCP&L to get out there, we want to make sure we're cutting off all the power all around that whole complex, since we don't have any real as-built, since that was put in by volunteers years ago. So just trying to be safe so nobody gets hurt. And then the last thing, just wanted to let everybody know that the restrooms will be closed up as of tomorrow for the winter. It's been a very long year. I don't remember a time we've had them open this long, but we don't want to get caught and then end up having frozen pipes. So we're going to go ahead and close them down tomorrow. So be glad to entertain any questions.
No questions? All right. Thank you, sir. Director Musty.
Thank you, sir. A couple things just to highlight off of my staff report is the memorial benches. We sold 2 memorial benches through the Legacy program. They are installed at Recreation Park by Hole 1 at the disc golf course, and then at Good Parkway right next to Lucy Webb, just south of Lucy Webb off Good Parkway. And they're installed. They look great. Guys did a great job on doing that, and we are working with the families to bring them out, do kind of a photo opportunity, present them with their certificate for their donation. So that should be coming in the next couple weeks. For those of you who attended the Veterans Day ceremony, you noticed, or hopefully you got to see the honor bricks that were installed up near the flagpole. They're in. Again, the guys did a great job. They look fantastic. And we have, as far as the Legacy program, we have one more thing to do. We have the Lions Club purchased a tribute tree to be planted in Good Parkway along the trail, and that will be done later this year when we do our fall tree plantings. So that should wrap up this year's Legacy program. So I would say for the first time having done any of it, it was fairly successful, and we hope that just the visibility of the bricks and the benches and stuff would encourage other people to participate in that program. The other thing that I want to highlight is, as you guys can see, if you drive around the City Hall Circle, Municipal Circle during the day, construction began on the Centerview. So for those of you who don't know, what we've been calling the annex of the Municipal Circle, City Council has landed on a name as Centerview, and that's what the building will be called, which will be our administrative offices for the Parks Department. Basically, we're hoping around April, May. It really just depends on construction and weather and whatnot. But that is the name of the building, and it is underway. So our time at the Public Works Operation Facility is on a calendar at this point, which is a long time coming for a temporary home 10 years ago, 11 years ago. So, and with that, we're excited about the mayor's tree lighting, and I would be happy to answer any questions, should anybody have any.
Any questions? All right. Sheldon.
Nathan, the renovation and relocation of the rail car, how extensive is the renovation going to be? Do you know? Do we know yet?
The bids came in today, and I'm not at liberty to announce it because City Council hasn't even heard it yet.
Did you say interior and exterior?
This will be a full restoration, yes.
Any others? All right. Thank you, Director Musty. All right. We'll move on to old business. Item A is the Memorial Park CIP project update. Director Musty.
Thank you, sir. I placed this in old business because it's a project that has been on our docket for a long time. I just want to bring this to the forefront that the RFPs, the scope of work for these particular projects, I've completed those. I'm turning them in to the Finance Department tomorrow. We hope to have this project or the components of the Memorial Park renovations on the street for bidding within the next couple weeks so that we can award a contract in early 2017 and take advantage of the spring season. What I really am hoping to do is you guys all have seen the extensive list of projects. I'm trying to kind of jump out of the gate here running and get some of these on a roll. So it's just a quick recap of the things that are involved in the Memorial Park. One thing specifically is the additional $10,000 the council has given to the tree board to do signage and additional tree planting in that area. They have met, talked about some things, so we hope to bring in a next future work session examples of what they're looking at so that you guys can see kind of what they've been working on. I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's right in the realm of everything that we do there. So I think you'll be pleased with what they have in mind with that money, and we're thankful that the council has given that. Total of the project is a little over $250,000. That includes trail rehab, extending the parking lot on the west side. There's some additional things that we're including in the RFP as alternate bids that if funding and everything works out, we already have those projects under contract that we can include those. And if not, we can cancel those out of the contract, and we have a fairly good price that we know how to budget for it in the future. So we've added a couple extra things. Extensions of sidewalks, refurbishing the flagpole at Memorial Park, things like that. So we just wanted, while we had the time and we had the professionals bidding on it, we wanted to go ahead and get it out there and see if we could afford to do it now while we had the project in place. So outside of that, really this was just a recap, give you a project mapping of what we're kind of looking at doing. And hopefully in January, I'll be able to bring you a recommendation for a contract for some of these projects. If not, we'll do it in February. But that's coming, and I'd be happy to answer any questions about this project.
Yes, Brian.
Yeah, Nathan, there's two pictures on here, and the first one shows the trail headed out to Lucy Webb being the 10-foot trail. The second one shows it just being the rehabbed existing trail. Mm-hmm. Which plan is right? Is it just a rehab? We're redoing it.
You're talking about later in the packet that's the same project map?
Yeah.
The one in this particular agenda item is the most accurate. I went ahead and included a 10-foot wide trail from Lucy Webb up to where the loop connects, just because it's more accessible.
Okay.
The packet that's further back, or the map that's further back in the packet, that was one of the items. That's basically the map that we used when we presented this to the Arts Commission.
Okay.
And we've updated it since then.
Okay. So that will, okay, good.
Yeah, what you're seeing in this particular agenda item, that map is the most accurate. And I will even say after, I've even made a change to it after this, but there are little changes, like sidewalk extenders connecting to the parking lots, trying to get people access from having to walk through the parking lot to get to the park. So little things like that weren't necessarily included in the original bid, but I think it's valid and worth getting a price. And if we can make it work, go ahead and doing it while we got them out there. So
The only other, I don't know if meaningful is the right word, but the only other difference I see is on the old one, the northernmost bridge was the plan to convert to a land bridge, and it still looks like it's now just going over the bridge. Is it just we're just gonna keep it the same bridge?
It's really the same principle. We're probably gonna do, Steve and I really hadn't decided. A land bridge would be more of a culvert and just doing, natural materials to create that. We've also seen when we went to the NRPA conference, some fabricated boardwalk type bridges that you can just put some footings in and then set those boardwalks on there. Really neat, fairly cost efficient. So we're looking at those kind of things, and and when we go to the pre-bid, we'll probably talk to the contractors. So I took that off the map just so it didn't landlock us into having to do something. But
And I guess I've never been out there when it's raining. It
Heavy
looks
rain.
wet because it's low, but is it a stream? Is it an actual stream that goes through there? Yeah. Yeah.
The reason that particular bridge was selected over the others is how narrow it is. It's only 4 foot in width, where the others are more like an 8-foot wide bridge. So it just doesn't function very well. So eventually what we'd like to do is go ahead and replace the other two. but this was top priority.
For the record, it's a good picture bridge, though.
They are,
It is a good picture bridge.
they are,
Homecoming, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
well,
All kinds
sir,
of
we're
stuff.
trying to make the whole area beautiful for
Oh, well,
photographs.
thanks. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
And I had mentioned, sorry, excuse me, I had mentioned the tree board had signage and stuff. I forgot that I had put a couple pictures of the concept that they want to use for the signage in there from what they had and what it will be, so I did include that in there. That concludes staff report.
All right, one other question. Is the tree board, in conjunction with staff, going to furnish a layout map of the grid for the Arboretum? So we see how overall how it fits into the scheme of the park.
Yes, sir. Part of the plan for the Arboretum, ultimately, as a finished product, is we will have the state forester, Chuck Connors, come out, and he's going to help identify what Steve and I can't do. And believe me when I say there's members on our tree board who are much more knowledgeable than me and Steve. So whatever we can't do, Chuck will come out and identify those, and we'll use GIS systems to create a map and try to utilize technology as much as we can to bring that up. One of the options that the tree board's discussing, I didn't include it in the packet, but on the back side of that sign, they're contemplating two options of some type of inspirational quote from like the movie The Lorax. And if the licensing doesn't work for that, we thought about basically putting a map, at least on one of the signs out there, just a map and listing of the type of species. I hesitate doing that because it can change at any moment. Any storm knocks a tree down, your map's obsolete. So I wouldn't lean towards that one, but it's definitely an option. But most of it will be up to date on the website. And so they would be able to log straight up on the website from out in the park and go right to where they're at, figure out what species of tree they're looking at, things like that.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you, sir. All right, we'll go on to new business. Item A is public art location. Director Mustang.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I wanted to bring this item to you as the Arts Commission continues to build some steam and to bring more projects into the city. It's just a natural fit that the Arts Commission and the Parks Board are cooperative in this effort. And we have so many locations and areas where it would be a good fit for that. So what we did, they asked staff to identify some areas within the parks that would be a natural fit for that. So Steve and I and City Manager Meredith Hauk, we took a tour, and Steve and I basically kind of showed her some of the prominent areas where art features and sculptures could be placed that might be a good fit, that wouldn't be a maintenance burden and wouldn't be prone to vandalism because of the location, and just identified some locations where we feel like if the Arts Commission found some sculptures or some pieces of art, they would immediately have somewhere they can look at to placing that without having to come to us for ideas. So we just wanted to kind of be ahead of the game. We identified these things. Ms. Hauk has already taken it to the Arts Commission to see if they were okay with it, and it's really just our turn to present this listing to you guys. And as you are basically sanctioned by the state and the city charter to care for the parks, we want to make sure that we got your approval, your official approval, that you're okay with these locations, and that Steve and I can move forward to working with the Arts Commission to provide some of that needed culture in our park system. So what this is just a list of pre-identified locations for your approval.
Any questions? All right, as locations are listed, and everyone can see those, and I assume there is no objection to those locations. I'll entertain a motion to move forward with this project with the Art Commission. Any motion?
All right, I'll make a motion that we accept staff's recommendation for the locations for the Art Commission's installation at the sites listed for public art.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and second. That was a tie there. To accept this project and move forward with the interaction with the Art Commission on locations for public art. All those, any further discussion on it? All right, all those in favor? All right, passes unanimously. Thank you. We don't have any public, so there's no public comment. So we reach that time of the evening in the thrilling meeting such as this, where I can call on board members for their comments, either yay or nay. And I'll start from my left. Brian. Can I come back to you? Yes, I can. Steve.
I just want to say the Veterans Day event, although I've shared this with a couple of you, although I wasn't able to make it, I drove through about halfway through, and the turnout was fantastic. So it was really, I don't want to use the word somber because it was a very light mood, but you could just feel the pulse of it. So you guys did an extra special job with it. Both staff and Steve, your staff as well, did a fantastic job with those bricks. I went out and looked at them, and they looked awesome. So great job with that.
Melinda.
I'm going to piggyback off of Steve's because I was there and it was really cool. In fact, today my dad was at our house because I kept forgetting to give it to him, but they recognized veterans for Vietnam. And so I went up and got one actually for my father and for our neighbor. And my daughter took it over and pinned it on the neighbor, and we were heading out of town, so we couldn't do it. And so that was really cool. And then today I was able to have both kids there, and my husband and I, and we were able to present it to my dad, which was really cool because one of the things that they said at the ceremony was that they recognized people who, you know, stayed in the United States and didn't go abroad, and that they were just as important, you know, and that kind of thing. And that was one of the things my dad struggles with, is he didn't really go overseas, so he really wasn't in Vietnam. And so I was able to say, actually, no, you know, they do recognize you, and here, you know, I've got this for you. So it was really kind of cool, and so I appreciate that, and I know he did, and he already pinned the pin on his, or I pinned on his pin on his hat for him, so, because he has a U.S. Marines hat. And so anyway, I have that, and then we did a couple of bricks, and those turned out really nice also, so great job on that. So, thank you.
Eric.
Yay.
All right. Jim.
My son, excuse me, my voice is kind of going, so if I sound like the Godfather, that's what's going on. So. No, my son just wrapped up his second season of rec baseball, had a blast, he's hooked, you know, so yeah, great job on the season. It went really well, everything seemed to go really smooth, so yeah, nice job, thank you.
Michelle.
As always, thanks to our Parks and Rec staff for all that you do. I guess we won't see each other again till after the holidays, so happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas, and be safe and have fun, and lots of turkey.
Sheldon.
Everybody welcome Santa Claus this year. Be safe.
That was short. Jenny.
I piggyback them all. You guys are awesome, and I'd like to especially piggyback Michelle here. Happy New Year, too. That's it.
All right. Since we're not going to have another formal meeting possibly until January, Brian, that's what you get for skipping.
Sorry.
We got a line. Go
Again,
ahead.
like to congratulate staff on a great job on the programs, on the facilities and the groundwork. Every once in a while, we hear a few things on Facebook and social media about bad things, but lately the tide seems to be in our favor, so all we hear are good things, so kudos to you. I also want to say kudos to the board up here. Thank you for your dedication to being here and helping us take care of this department in the city. I'd also like to give another kudos out, because if I read this right, October 31st is the end of our budget year. And we came out, if I'm reading this right, $90,000 ahead of our budgeted amount. Is that correct?
It's accurate there, but it's unofficial. That
It's
is just
unofficial.
end of the
I-
month. It's not end of the fiscal year reporting yet.
Okay.
But it
well,
is-
Either way, it's got to be, I assume, fairly close. So there's another
Not far
kudos
off.
to us. So maybe it's just me, but I see a little extra money for a dog park at some point somewhere. That's all right. Got to throw that in. We haven't talked about it in a few months. So, but I want to tell everybody, have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you prefer, and eat a lot. Eat a lot this week. Thank you.
Okay, Brian, hopefully Santa will have that park in this bag. Anyway, since we're not going to have a formal meeting again until January, the board should expect that when we come back, we're going to have a lot on our plate and a lot of things to deal with, because things will pick up, specifically for certain parks. And hopefully that project, and sometime next year, we're going to look forward to moving into having our park staff move into Centerview. Also, to the staff and to the members of the Park Department, I want to wish them both a happy Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas, also a Happy New Year. And they've given us an excellent year, and I expect to even to exceed that next year. And to the board members especially, it's been a pleasure working with you this past year. And sometime during the next month, Brian and I have a contest to see who has a better beard. It doesn't matter if it's white. I have an edge since it's Christmas time. I'll have the white. But anyway, that being said, now I'm going to call for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and second to adjourn. All those in favor? All right, we are formally adjourned.